So what I wanted to do today was talk a little bit about how to treat low back pain and how a holistic approach to it is absolutely essential. So here's my little diagram of the low back. There's the sacrum that sits in between the pelvis, right and left, or left and right, coccyx, your tailbone, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 lumbar vertebrae, which are all in here. And up here we've got the 12th thoracic vertebrae with a rib above it. Now, a lot of low back pain focuses around disc injuries. So we would have a disc in there, and discs work first and foremost by being hydraulically powered. So there's a lot of water in this disc that pumps it up. And when somebody is dehydrated, that disc can compress and you can get wear and tear on the vertebrae, and they can wear out the outside lamina of the disc. And at which point you may well get a disc bulge where it presses out on a nerve, causes sciatica down a leg and causes aching right the way across the low back, and that's pretty incapacitating, a disc injury in the low back. So there's a lot of stretches, there's a lot of musculoskeletal exercises that could be done, a lot of soft tissue work that could be done to help that. But here's one of the issues. Sitting right here are your kidneys. So not only is the hydration of the disc an important issue, but when the kidneys are not well hydrated, because the kidneys don't have a great nerve supply, they need to communicate to the rest of the body that they're perhaps a bit overworked and a bit stressed as well. So what they might do is they might contribute to low back pain to let you know that you're dehydrated and you need to do something about it. Sitting on top of your kidneys, like a little hat that sits on top just there, is your adrenal glands. Now your adrenal glands produce all the stressor hormones in your body: adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol. And you remember how I said that the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development said that low back pain and musculoskeletal problems were the second leading causes of long-term absenteeism? Well, stress happens to be the #1 cause of long-term absenteeism. So when these bad boys are not very happy and they can't communicate with you and you're not paying attention to how much stress you've got going on in your life, one of the things they might do is give you a low back problem. So if the top 3 causes for absenteeism are all revolving around stress, a holistic approach to that is going to be important. Now, one of the ways you can get really stressed, and one of the first things to be affected by stress, is your digestive tract. So where does your small intestine sit? Right here. That's where your small intestine lives. You have a mechanism in the body called a visceral motor inhibition. Visceral motor inhibition basically means that if your guts aren't working very well, because they don't have that great nerve supply, they can't communicate it straight to your brain, so they might have to tell some of the joints in your body that they're hurting to let you know. So where are they going to tell? Into the low back, because that's the nearest joint to the digestive tract. So what runs around the small intestine goes up, transcending colon goes down, and it leaves on the left. We have the colon. So if you've got any members of staff who are, they say they're regular, colon-wise, you need to check out whether that's the case or not, because you've got one hole here and one hole here, and if you're eating 3 square meals a day and you're going regularly every Monday morning, that's not regular enough. When this backs up, there's a massive degree of toxicity that can seep back into the body. And where does it seep? You can kind of see where this is going, can't you? It's going to go to the low back. Now, we've got a hormonal issue. If you've got any ladies with chronic low back pain, the ovaries sit there. Where are they going to reflex to? The low back, which is one of the reasons women often get period pains around here, is because the ovaries are working overtime at that time of the month and they can't communicate a problem to the rest of the body because they don't have the nerve supply, so they'll tell you through the low back. The testicles sit in the scrotum, but they'll reflex in the same way, perhaps not once every month, but if there's a problem with male sex hormone production, that might come back through the low back as well. So there's a whole host of issues here that involve how much water we drink, what other beverages we drink, what kind of food we eat, what our stress levels are like, how our sleep works. The whole thing sits underneath the diaphragm, which should have a massaging effect when you breathe properly, and most people when they get a bit stressed don't breathe properly. So there's all this world of different activity going on, and often the only way it has to communicate to the rest of the body is through the low back. So if the stretches aren't working, if the soft tissue release isn't working, if the support you're getting from your physiotherapist or your chiropractor isn't working, you might need to look a little bit wider for a more holistic approach from a functional therapist to solve the problem of low back pain in the workplace.